What is going on, everybody? Goofy Rexy here. So today's video, guys, we're going to be doing a follow-up to the beginner's farmer guide that I just did. So I gave you a bunch of characters and talked about go farm these characters here, but I think it would be good for me to talk about just some beginner teams that you should use here for your heroes, your villains campaign, and options that you have available too for your later villains in heroes campaign also. So, you know, be able to get to that hella node, right? Villains chapter 7-6, how are you going to do that? What teams are available for you there, and then also some options that you have for your mystic and your cosmic campaign too. So hopefully we're going to go through this quickly, guys, and let's actually start right now. Also wanted to make a quick amendment too as well before we dive into the teams. You know, also wanted to make a quick amendment too here in regards to some of the characters that I talked about. So, you know, I completely forgot about Swarm. Swarm is going to be coming to the arena store. I'm not quite sure exactly when, but it sounds like it's going to be soon based on the blog post, you know, that came out a couple weeks ago, that Swarm is going to be coming to the arena store. We know that, at least we know that where exactly he's going to be going to the arena store. So completely up to you in regards to what direction you want to go, and you can replace, you know, Vulture and farm Swarm. Or farm Swarm and then farm Vulture. The reason why I'm mentioning that is just because the arena store is pretty lucrative. It's pretty profitable in terms of farming. So if you choose to go in the direction of farming Swarm and then farming Vulture, you can probably get both of those characters to 5 stars in probably about a 3-month period. Another option too is just completely to kick out Vulture and then farm these other characters. Cosmic 1-9 for Shocker is still a viable option. It's just that it might take you a little bit longer for you to be able to get to 1-9. So I'm also going to amend this and say that you can probably farm Shocker in Heroes 3-9, you know, completely up to you. And the next portion of this here for Magneto, you know, I did recommend farming Sabretooth in the raid store to start off with. I forgot that Wolverine is going to be a part of your daily objective. So you can actually get, you know, Wolverine before you could probably get, you know, Sabretooth to 5 stars. So the amendment here, Mystique, Toad, Juggernaut, Blob, and Wolverine are the characters that you need in order for you to be able to unlock Magneto here. Get those characters to 5 stars, unlock Magneto, and you are good to go, baby. All right, so first team here that I'm going to recommend, your beginner team is going to be the Wave 1 Avengers team here. Wave 1 Avengers are arguably the best, you know, beginner team in my personal opinion. They're good, you know, early team, and they're also a good late game team too, because you're going to use them in some of those later campaign nodes. But yeah, definitely for me, recommended team. The characters are available pretty early. You know, Thor is available. He's going to be a login calendar. Captain America is going to be a login calendar. Black Widow is going to be available for you in Villains 1-9. So you can get her really early with a low investment on some of the early characters that you'll get. And then Hawkeye is also going to be available in Heroes Chapter 1-9 too. So you can get him pretty easily. Hulk is actually going to be one of the harder characters for you to get because he is in the achievements, and this could take a while. He's 100 shard to unlock, so this is probably going to be our longest farm, or your longest, you know, it's going to be the character that's going to take you the longest for you to be able to get. But that's the recommended Wave 1 Avengers team. Now, obviously, Thor is going to get kicked off of this team once you do get an Asgardian team, you know, so, you know, you're probably going to need to replace him with Iron Man. Iron Man is a permanent legendary right now. You need 4 shield characters at 3 stars in order to be able to unlock him. But, you know, once you do get him, you can also put him on the Wave 1 Avengers team, you know, initially too. Completely up to you, or you can throw them on the power armor team when you get a power armor team. But if you want to go Wave 1 Avengers, you know, and keep Iron Man on that team, once Thor gets kicked off and goes to the Asgardians, you know, you can use Iron Man also. And just to kind of give you a heads up, if you don't know already, Black Widow, Captain America, and Hawkeye are shield characters too. So you need 4 shield characters at 3 star to unlock Iron Man. You're already going to be working on 3 of them to be able to unlock him, so you are going to be good to go where that is concerned. But listen, we're going to be your hero. The Wave 1 Avengers team is going to be your heroes team. They're going to be your early arena team. They're going to be your early raid team for you. They're going to be a team that you can use through the Nexus campaign. For your heroes campaign, I also want to say that they can take you all the way from chapter 1 all the way to chapter 6. And then you can also use this team as well for your ISO 8 campaign too. So you need global characters. You know, the Wave 1 Avengers team will take care of that need for you. And then for your Doom campaign, you can use the Wave 1 Avengers team to unlock the Negasonic node. So that's also another really good thing that you can do with this team too. And also, which is in the Doom campaign, right? By the way, Negasonic is in the Doom campaign, Doom 1.9. And then for Doom Chapter 3, you can also use this team in a few of these nodes also. So very good team. My top recommended team here would be the Wave 1 Avengers team, not just as a heroes team, but also as a starter team, your best beginner team that you can use also. All right, and then for your villains team here, guys, obviously Sinister Six, you're using them to unlock 2 legendaries. Use your Sinister Six team. You know, Mysterio, Rhino, and Swarm are going to be absolute locks on that team. They are the characters that are going to be used for your later team that you use with your Dr. Octopus and Electro. So they're going to be the team I'm going to recommend to put the higher investment into. But obviously, you're going to need to put some investment into the entire team in order for you to be able to get through the villains campaign. They can get you all the way from Villains Chapter 1 all the way through Villains, Chapter 6, and it can do some nodes in Villains Chapter 7. They need some pretty good investment in order for them to do Villains Chapter 7, 1, 2, and 3, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But best, villains team, in my opinion, they're going to be pretty good too, for you, and they don't need a lot of investment in order for them to be able to get through the villains campaign. Bring Rhino, bring Mysterio, bring Swarm up to level 55, gear tier 9 with their abilities at 5553, at least until you get Dr. Octopus. The other 2 Sinister Six characters that you choose to use, you can bring them up to like 50 and gear tier 8, to be able to get some stuff done. So you're all set where that is concerned, man, with that team. In my personal opinion, they're the best villains team that you can use, earlier on. Obviously, you can get some other villains characters as you continue to play the game. But for what we're talking about here, Villains Chapter 6, being able to unlock these the 2 legendaries, an Invisible Woman and Shuri, that's really, really good team to go with. And once you invest into them, you're definitely not going to regret it, moving forward. Now, once you get later on into your Heroes Chapter 7 campaign, you're going to need some options here in order for you to be able to get through Heroes Chapter 7 1 at least. You need to get through Heroes Chapter 7 1 so that you can start doing Villains Chapter 7, 1, 2, and 3. Villains Chapter 7 nodes 1, 2, and 3. You're going to need to at least complete Heroes Chapter 7 node 1 in order to be able to do that. The best team that I found, was actually Symbiote Spider-Man and Miss Marvel, but Symbiote Spider-Man is not farmable. So Symbiote Spider-Man and Miss Marvel and like 3 other Hero City characters, but Symbiote Spider-Man is not farmable, so I'm not going to give you that as an option, right? I would say if you're going free to play, the best options that I think you have available to you are going to be Miss Marvel, Punisher, Ghost Rider, OG Spider-Man, and Spider-Man Miles. All are available to you pretty early, and also, well, not early, but they're available to you. Miss Marvel's in Mystic 2-6, which is going to be a little bit difficult for you to get to because you may not have as many Mystic characters in the beginning. But once you do get to this point where you're doing Heroes Chapter 7, you're absolutely going to probably be able to get to this Mystic 2-6 node. So don't even worry about that, man. I would definitely say Miss Marvel, Miss Marvel with her assist with other hero brawlers like Spider-Man Miles and OG Spider-Man and Ghost Rider actually is going to be a really, really good combination. Punisher is found very early in Heroes 1-6. You can also use him, on this new skill military team. And all these characters that I'm actually talking about for Hero City, you can also use as a part of your block party team to be able to do, which comes around every 2 months or so, as an event where you can get T2s, T3s, things like that. So I would definitely say, man, this is a really good option comp to go with. Defenders are not recommended anymore because they're just not a very good team right now. They've been power crept. They're not very good. So don't invest into those characters. But for your Hero City options, you go with Miss Marvel, go with Punisher, go with Spider-Man Miles, go with Ghost Rider and OG Spider-Man. And obviously, if you get other characters like Symbiote Spider-Man, Anti-Venom, and then or even Squirrel Girl, then you have some other better options available to you as well. All right, so for the next portion of this here, we're going to be talking about the villains campaign. So first and foremost, if I didn't say this already, once you get to level 70, that's when you're going to have access to the Villains Chapter 7 campaign and the Heroes Chapter 7 campaign. And if I haven't already said it already, you need to beat Heroes Chapter 7-1 in order for you to be able to have access to Villains Chapter 7. So I would say, since you have to get to level 70, don't really worry about it until you get to like level 65. When you get to level 65, kind of start planning for it. But I'm going to give you some tips right now so that as you're progressing throughout the game, that you will know which direction you're probably going to go in once you get to that level 70 point. So, and obviously Villains Chapter 7 is going to be extremely important. You need to get to 7-6 so that you can farm Hela. Hela is very important for your Black Bolt unlock and also your Phoenix unlock. So very, very important. Okay. The teams that you can use for Villains Chapter 7 is going to be either AIM or Hydra or use in Sinister Six, right? So the natural inkling is probably going to be for you to use the Sinister Six team, but I think that team needs way too much investment in order for them to actually be effective. I'm talking about probably about 200k power level in order for them to just beat the nodes if you're going with a pure Sinister Six team. If you want to go with a pure Hydra team, you really ultimately are going to want to have Red Skull at least on that team, or you're going to want to get lucky with getting Baron Zemo. Baron Zemo is not farmable. Red Skull is late game farm, so you might not be able to get to Red Skull. So I'm not going to recommend those options unless you so happen to get those characters by luck. Then absolutely, I would say use Red Skull, use Baron Zemo. I recommend a full AIM team because they require the least investment for you to actually get it done. Once again, we're just trying to beat the nodes. 7-1, 7-2, 7-3. We're just trying to beat those nodes, right? We don't need to 3-star them. So a AIM team at a power level of 130k to 150k can absolutely get the job done. I went with Scientist Supreme, Graviton, AIM Assaulter, AIM Security, and an AIM Researcher. Now, the toughest characters to get for this team are going to be Graviton and AIM Researcher. Graviton is in the War Store, and then AIM Researcher is in the Arena Store. So that might mess up your farms for legendaries in those particular stores. But like I said, I mean, once again, you're going to be doing this once you get to like level 65, level 66, around it. That's when I recommend you start focusing down on this. So don't worry. Like I said, don't worry about it until you get to that level. Hopefully, once you get to that point, you can probably kind of sort of trickle in. Maybe, hopefully, you'll get a couple shards for these characters also, so that it won't be as strenuous to try to get these characters ready so that you can get through that part of the campaign, or those, that campaign, those couple nodes there. People do tend to use AIM Monstrosity because they do like that he gives a little bit more offensive power to the team with his offensive up, but I find that having AIM Researcher gives this team a little bit more sustain, and I think more sustain is better for that particular part of the campaign, or 7-1, 7-2, 7-3. I think sustain is a lot better. That's the reason why I chose to go with the AIM. And once again, I don't have to invest into them that much in order for them to get the job done. And I can also use them in other parts of the game, like War. And I use them early with AIM with Ultron to form a AIM-Tron team for War offense, and then I also as well use them, in some part of the Doom campaign, along with Shuri to get past a few of the nodes there too. So definitely still going to be a viable option. And you can also try some hybrid teams too, some Sinister Six characters with AIM characters. If you get a Baron Zemo, combining with some of the other characters that are available. So things might be different once you get to level 65, level 67, right? And you start planning things out. But I'm just kind of giving you some tips in advance just to kind of give you an idea of what to look out for. The next portion of the campaign that you're going to have to worry about is going to be 7-4, 7-5, 7-6 in the villains campaign. My recommendations, or what I use, or let's say this, the options that you're going to have available. Number one, you're going to need mystic villain characters, right? So what you're going to need to do is the ones that are probably going to be easier for you to get are going to be Juggernaut. Juggernaut, you're going to be farming because you're going to be looking to unlock Magneto. You're going to have Ronin. Ronin, you're going to be farming in the raid store because you're going to be looking to unlock Phoenix. Mordo, same for Phoenix. Loki, also, you're going to be looking to unlock Black Bolt, and then, of course, go to unlock Phoenix. The other two wildcard characters are ultimately Thanos and Hela. Those are going to be harder. Now, Hela, you could get lucky with she's a 45 shard unlock. I got lucky with her. Once you get to that point, hopefully you'll be lucky too. If not, then that's not really going to be an option. And then same thing with Thanos. Thanos is going to be tough too because Thanos is in the late part of the Nexus campaign. So These two are ultimately the wild cards. Loki, Juggernaut, Mordo, and Ronan are definitely, I would say, the better options to go with. But Hela and Thanos are going to be the difficult ones to get. But you can get lucky with Hela. You know, once you get to that point, you might get lucky with Hela. So I would say that probably is going to be your best option, using Hela to unlock the Hela node and 3-star Hela node. I do have a video on my channel with a 148k team that I use in order to be able to get it done. I use Hela, I use Loki, Juggernaut, and Mordo, you know, on my baby account to be able to get it done. So it's definitely possible. It does take a little bit of RNG, but you know, it's doable. It's definitely possible. Anything is possible. So it's definitely possible for you to do it with that particular team. All right. Last but certainly not least here, I'm going to talk about your Cosmic and your Mystic options. Cosmic and Mystic are tough early because you don't get a lot of these characters earlier on, which is the reason why I think I said for Shocker, you know, in the beginner's farming guide, that if you cannot get to the Cosmic 1-9 campaign, then try to farm Shocker in the Heroes campaign, unless he's going to be the character that you drop for Swarm, then obviously then forget about it, right? But Cosmic and Mystic can be a little tough. You're going to need to play a little bit before you can get some of these characters. But I came up with a few characters that I thought might help you to get through some of those campaigns. So for Cosmic and for Mystic, the optimal team, I think that's the easiest to use to go through it, are going to be the Asgardians. But of course, Loki is in 3-6. Sif is in the War Store, which can be tough. Heimdall is in the Arena Store, which I recommend to farm later after you're done farming, you know, Juggernaut and Swarm and all that stuff. So that might not be a viable option as yet for Cosmic. But you know, I'm going to give you some options. Let's not talk about what options you don't have available early. Let's talk about some of the earlier options that you may have once you started to play the game a little bit. And I think for Cosmic, you know, I found that, you know, Mordo was really good. Mordo is Mystic and Cosmic, so you can use him. Captain Marvel is also an option too. She is in Heroes. 6'9", if I'm not mistaken, 6'9". You also do have Mantis. Mantis is in the Blitz store, and while she's not a character that I would recommend you go out and farm for, you're going to be pulling some Blitz orbs here. So there's a possibility that you may get Mantis. You may get Mantis, and if you do get Mantis, she's absolutely usable. Build her up to a certain point, stopping point, just enough so that you can get through some of the early part of the campaign so that you can farm characters like Scientist Supreme, who I believe is in Cosmic 2-9, because you're going to want that aim team, right? So definitely I would say Mantis is an option. And then also America Chavez. America Chavez is also an option too. I believe she's both Mystic and Cosmic as well. America Chavez is going to be part of a Young Avengers team, but I think is actually a usable team in this game. You know, so America Chavez is also an option there. Now for Mystic, you have so many more options, I think, you know, especially earlier, you know, the options become a little bit more viable for you. Also, I forgot to mention Thor you get in the beginning of part of the game too from the login calendar, so he is also a Cosmic option and a Mystic option too. Asgardian team, that's the reason why I mentioned them. Asgardians, you know, can do Cosmic and Mystic with respect to Sif, who's only Cosmic. Therefore, I would say replace Sif with Juggernaut or Mordo. Works really well. You know, both of those characters can work well on that Asgardian team. Mordo is actually much better just because of the combination that he has between himself and Hela. Him doing the debuffs, Hela spreading those debuffs works pretty solidly well too. But for Mystic, you do have a little bit more options here. For Mystic, I would say, you know, once again, Juggernaut rears his ugly head or ugly helmet. You know, Juggernaut is there, Thor is there again, Mordo is there, Heimdall, Loki, you know, Hela you could get lucky with. There is also Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider is also a Mystic character too that's going to be available in Cosmic 1-9. Mystic and Cosmic are going to be sort of these nodes that you're going to get to after playing for a little bit, right? You're going to get some of these characters after playing for a little bit, after farming for some legendaries in the Arena store, in the Raid store. You're going to get some access to these characters and some of these teams later. You know, so that's going to be a much better direction for you to go. And Thanos is also Mystic too. You could get lucky with getting some shards for him. Once you're playing this game, you will realize that you're going to get shards for some characters here that are going to be helpful for you on your roster. But listen, I'm hoping that this was helpful for you. I'm not going to tarry too long. This is already going too long and I'm thinking about lunch. So therefore, I'm going to end this video now. Obviously, I really just wanted to touch on the beginner teams, like the mere beginner teams that you should be investing into, right? You know, obviously for Wave 1 Avengers, and then also, you know, the Wave 1 Avengers and then your Sinister Six team. But then also in addition to that, what options you have available for you for Mystic, Cosmic, and then of course those later nodes, you know, for Villain 7, you know, Hero 7, what those options that you have available for you. But if there's something else that you want me to talk about in another video, please let me know. Happy to help out in any sort of which way. Appreciate you guys watching. Y'all be blessed and y'all be safe.